Hello, welcome to the Good Girl Unleashed podcast. Today I want to dive into discernment, low vibrations, and emotions. So I've found what can come up quite often is this comparison between the low vibe and the high vibe and what it means to be one or the other. And I find that we can get stuck in the stories and the beliefs around this concept. There's a resistance to feeling the low vibrational emotions, and there's like a chasing for those high vibes. It's become quite popular as spirituality continues to expand and awaken within so many at this time, which is so incredible. But there can be quite a bit of confusion, distortion, misalignment, where we can take something to mean something different. Almost like that when you when you've played the Chinese whispers game and the next person tells the next person the thing and then eventually it gets back to the last person and it's a completely different thing that was said. We take information with our current lens of perception and we can distort it or we can receive it in a very different way than what it was intended to be sharing. And I got caught up in this quite early on in my journey as well of like, oh, I've got to think positively all the time. I've got to be feeling all these positive emotions. I've got to be grateful all the time in order to manifest and create the life that I want or to feel the way that I want to feel. And I had all these beautiful things that I wanted to call into my life, and I kept getting told, well, if you're thinking this way, if you're not thinking these thoughts, if you're having these feelings, you're not going to get these things. And it would rattle me quite a lot and quite shake me. And it felt really challenging to maintain this high vibration, if not impossible, because I had stuff that kept coming up. I kept feeling like I was dropping back to depression or anxiety would come up or overwhelm or I just feel really low sometimes. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I figure this out? I've read the books, I'm doing the meditations and my yoga and my affirmations and my visualizations and it's not working. And I notice now that I'm working with clients, it's similar things that are coming up of I'm not high vibe or I'm not being authentic or I don't know who I am or what I want or there's a lot of kind of confusion that comes up. And there can still be, what I'm noticing is there's still this resistance to feeling these perceived low vibrational emotions and the need to be something other than who you are in this moment. I've got to be this way in order to be high vibe, in order to be authentic, in order to be say I'm being my authentic self. What even is your authentic self? What is authenticity to you? Or are you taking what authenticity, what authentic self, what true self, what high vibe means to someone else? And because you're not living the life that they're living, or you don't have the beliefs or the thoughts or the aligned action or the business or the relationship that someone else has, that it means that you're not high vibe. It means that you're not authentic. It means that there's something wrong with you. It means that you've got all this work to do. And we get stuck in the comparison. And now there is emotions that are considered to be lower vibrational and other emotions that are quite high vibrational and that you feel so incredible. Yes, that is true. But for me, what transformed and shifted everything for me, that allowed me to experience more of these high vibrational states and for a longer period of time, and to shift from my kind of emotional home of No matter what I did, I'd go back to my emotional home of depression, anxiety, and just hating life. It was so deep. I've shifted that emotional home, and now it's coming back to a state of ease and calm, okayness, sufficiency. And so it's not necessarily these deep, dark emotions anymore, but it's not necessarily being excited and joyful and all the things all of the time and go, go, go and all this high energy. It's not about having that all of the time. For me, it's learning to flow with my emotions, not get stuck in a loop. So when we get stuck, it's not necessarily getting stuck and still. Energy is always moving. But what can happen is you can get stuck on a loop, playing the same thoughts and feelings and stories and beliefs over and over and over and over, creating more of it. You're on this hamster wheel. What I've learned is to become aware of what stories am I playing in conjunction with the thoughts and feelings. What am I buying into, grabbing onto, holding onto, attaching to? If I feel this, it means this about me. If I'm experiencing this, it means this about me. If I don't have that, it means this about me. If I'm attracting this, it means this about me. What are you making it mean about you? And that's what's getting you stuck on this loop. It's not the fact that you feel an emotion. It's natural to feel all human emotions. Your emotions are messages. The perceived negative emotions are telling you that there's something here, there's something to deal with, there's something to feel. Maybe there's something, an action or something that you thought or said or did or something that happened in your life that's not in alignment with your truth, with your true self, with the life that you truly desire. And so it's not a bad thing to have these emotions. They are pivotal to your experience and to creating the experience that you desire. They're messages. When I was experiencing deep depression and I was being recommended or told by people that I loved that maybe I should be on medication, I was like, no, these are my messages. I haven't like kind of cracked the code yet. I haven't figured it out yet. But I know there's a message here, and I'm not going to numb my emotions because I don't want to miss the message. That's the path that I took. And that's not me saying there isn't a place for medication. If that's the path that you need to get you from A to B, amazing. But it's what you do in between, so that we're not becoming reliant on this external thing to fix an internal issue. The answers are within you, your emotions, your experiences, your reality. There's messages there. And when you receive those messages, you have the power to change anything and everything. But it's learning to discern between what's an emotion that's here to just really be felt, to be present with, to lean into. And if it's quite an overwhelming, if it's something that you're not sure you can hold space for yourself on your own, get support for someone to hold you as you lean into the discomfort, as you lean into the emotion, so it can be felt and expressed and released, integrated, and you come back into your flow. When you resist, it persists and it gets stronger. It's excruciating. And it's a lot harder to get to this high vibe place if you're constantly resisting different things. Because if you're resisting one, you're resisting the other. You can't resist the pain that's being held inside of you, the emotion that wants to be felt, the depression, the anxiety, the grief, the sadness, the not good enoughness. You can't resist and suppress all of that, suppressing the trauma, without suppressing your greatest joy, your greatest potential, without resisting life. If you're resisting an emotion, whether it be good or bad, you're resisting life. You're not living fully. So if you can learn the discernment and the tools to move through your emotions, to flow with them, to not attach and chase one and avoid the other, but to actually allow them all to flow, that's when you tap into your flow state. That's when you tap into your full potential, your true self, your authenticity. And it's one step at a time. This isn't something that you need to rush. This isn't something that I need to do this, this, and this, and I need to do it right now so I can get to this high vibe and stay there. It's learning to flow. All your experiences, all your emotions have wisdom. When you allow yourself to lean in to what's uncomfortable, you receive the gifts, those messages. You release the power that it has over you. And you take your power back, you liberate that energy, you live a whole new life. And this is what happened for me. I learned to lean in. I learned to observe stories that I was playing out, that I was buying into. And I learned how to release the stories and just be present with the emotion. To feel it fully, express it. And that's when I came home. That's when my whole life changed. And that's what's led me here. To this moment, sharing this with you. And being so petrified to using my voice, to sharing, to speaking, to what if what I share isn't good enough? What if they judge me? What if I get criticized or someone doesn't like it? From that to embracing life, to living fully, and to sharing regardless. Because if there's one person that can benefit from hearing this message, sometimes that one person might just be me. And that's incredible. We are all connected, and as you do your inner work, as you come home to you and embrace life and embrace love, open your heart, heal, all of that ripples out. We are all connected. So I trust that if you're here, there was something for you to receive. I trust that you received that. It might land for you instantly, or it may just be that seed that's planted that will take some time to really drop into bloom. If you have some space, just allow this to sink in for you, to integrate. And journal. Journal what's coming up for you, what's resonating, what are you feeling? What have you been resisting feeling? Allow it to pour out. And if it ever feels overwhelming, if it ever feels too much that you can't handle it, get support. You don't have to do this alone. Thank you for being here. If you are loving this content, I'm going to continue sharing, and I would love you to subscribe and join the community. Share in the comments what's resonating for you, and I will see you in the next episode.